sometimes I'll have people reach out to me, and you know, their work doesn't look like it's that great. And I'll just, I'll usually, like, I'm not going to say that to them. Like, I just, but I might say, oh yeah, no, I'm pretty booked up for a while, that sort of thing.
Right.
Hey guys, welcome to Inside Comics with George Michail. Today I'm super psyched. My guest is Geek Nerd Net's CHRIS Doucher. Chris, thank you for being on the show.
Hey, George, thanks, man. Great to see you. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So you've got a great website, Geek Nerd Net. I encourage everyone to check it out. There's a link to the website in the description of this video. And I wanted to talk to you today about being professional, networking, kind of reaching out to people to talk about your work. You're also a comic book writer, and you're starting off with an anthology project put out through Renegade press called Home. So I just wanted to talk to you because you're actually on both sides of it here, where you're creating things and you're also promoting other people's work. So what should people do when they're reaching out to someone asking to be on their website or be interviewed by them?
It's a great question. And I mean, I think it's a lot to do with, I think I like people who are just themselves, right? Really just be yourself and be nice. You'd be surprised. I have had some over like a couple of years ago, and even last year I had people reach out to me saying, hey, I should be on your site and here's why. And I look at it, I'm like, okay, well, give me a bit more information, right? I go back and there's a back and forth, and then life gets in the way. And there's one particular person, I'm not going to mention names because I don't like to throw shade out there for the sake of it, but they wrote back in a week later and said, I haven't heard from you. What's going on? Am I being on your site or not? And at that point I'm like, probably not. And I had explained too, hey, this is my passion project. I launched geeknerdnet.com in 2014, and I do it because I love to do it. I love comics. I love indie books and creators. And so I wrote back saying, hey, this is my passion project. It's my side. It's part side of my life. And when I have time outside of family and all those fun things, I do this fun thing. So be patient and it'll come. And so for the most part, again, I do have people, and I fall, don't get me wrong, on the other end of it, for me, I've fallen flat too. I've had people reach out to me, and if anyone's watching this that's reached out to me, I apologize if I haven't gotten back to you. But I have had people reach out to me, and then honestly, there's no good excuse. Sometimes I forget, and that just happens. I try not to. For the most part, if a creator reaches out and they've got something cool, or I see it and I've reached out to creators, and I'm like, hey, do you want to be on the show? Or vice versa. They're like, hey, I've got this thing. What do you think? I saw you interviewed an indie writer before in our team. And 9 times out of 10, I'll be like, yeah, cool. And if they're coming up to say, even now, like as we're getting back into convention life, and hopefully that continues through 2022, a lot of times they'll be at a show that I'm going to, and I love talking to them there too.
Yeah, actually, you were my very first interview, so that was super fun. So I'm on both sides of it too, because I have this show inside comics and also comics, and sometimes I'll have people reach out to me, and their work doesn't look like it's that great. And I'll just, I'll usually, like, I'm not going to say that to them. Like, I just, but I might say, oh yeah, no, I'm pretty booked up for a while, that sort of thing.
Right.
So, maybe kind of keep in mind that people are trying to, gently not like say anything negative, and just kind of say, oh yeah, I'm busy, or that sort of thing. And I try and keep an open mind too, because like sometimes, like I've done lots of interviews, and sometimes I don't hear back from people, and I realize that people are busy, and I never get short or snippy with them, because I'm intending on making comics for a long time now, and so maybe down the road things will work out. So and maybe just because they don't like this project, they might like the next project, and that sort of thing too.
Yeah.
As far as like keeping a professional attitude, we were just talking before we started recording about people getting like negative reviews and these sorts of things, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about why you do or don't do like reviews on your on your website, and what your thoughts are as far as that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we're talking about it. Let's see. Maybe I think sometimes maybe I'm too nice, but but I don't mean that as a dig at myself, really. And it comes down to there are a lot of great reviewers out there. There are a lot of sites that do awesome reviews and they're consistent and all that kind of stuff. It is a lot of work. Part of that falls into that. I don't have a lot of time to do all the reviews. Like if I want to do it, I want to do like 5 books a week, and it's impossible. I mean, for me. And so the reason you really don't see any reviews on my site, I do have a writer who writes for me. He's an awesome guy. His name's Michael Worthen. He's based in California. We've known each other for over a decade now. He does some reviews here and there, and he's great. Like, he loves doing it, and I love that he does it. And but for my personally, the reason I don't necessarily like doing reviews, because if I read something and let's say it doesn't work for me, and I just actually had a kind of a Twitter exchange a month or so ago with CHRIS. She's a creator and artist and writer, and she had sort of echoed this, and I totally agree with her. Just because it's not in your or my wheelhouse where that really hits me and I love it, right? And I want to talk about it and tell everybody about it. It doesn't mean I'm going to flip a corner and talk crap about it, because it might be great for someone else. And that's the beauty of it. And that's kind of why I really like to focus on the creators like yourself and Chris Cam and your books and really just, I like to give the creators, if I can, a space to talk about their work and have a great conversation, and then let people determine from there if they want to check it out. I think that's kind of a nice way to do it. And I mean, we were talking just before we recorded, and I'd relayed an exchange I saw on Twitter, and basically this reviewer just crapped all over this artist, and I just found it unfair. And normally I don't necessarily comment on those, but I made a comment from the Geek Nerd Net Twitter account. So just because I felt it was necessary, and I'm also a fan. So
well, that's hard too, like, because like in this particular case, like they said that the person didn't even try, and it's like,
yeah,
that's just so rude to say. Like, you don't know, like, how much effort or time that they put into something, and if you don't like it, well, that's fine, but don't say that someone didn't try. I had one reviewer say that the book felt rushed, and I was like, rushed? I'm like, we spent like a year working on this issue. Like, how much longer did you want us to work on it? Like,
yeah.
So sometimes like these reviews can kind of cut close to home, and
Totally.
I try and stay positive too. I've thought about doing reviews here on Inside Comics, and it's just like, I don't want to bag on people's stuff. And also sometimes people send you like a first issue and you might not be feeling it, but by the end of the story arc, you're like, wow, this was great. And so sometimes with comics, you're getting like these really small sample sizes, and you have to kind of make a decision on a project as a whole with just, very little information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't imagine, from I'm going to shift for a sec, from a retailer point of view, I can't imagine the stress. And I mean that, I laugh, but I mean this seriously. I can't imagine the stress and the work that goes in behind the scenes, behind the counter, of having to not just have pull lists for all your customers, but to then try and guess, okay, what do I think is going to be a big hit? What do I think is come down the line that maybe I should try? And that kind of plays into it too, because if you're an indie creator and you're like, hey, here's my first book, this is why you should pick it up, and it's awesome, but you're on the side of the counter that has to order it. Just the amount of great work that's out there, outside of, let's say outside of the big two, to be cliche, it's true, but there's don't get me wrong, great Marvel DC stuff. I'm a big fan of that, still always will be. But I mean, I can't imagine that sort of stress or pressure to try and get these books cranking through a storefront.
Can you tell me a little bit about your project? So it's part of the Home Anthology, and what is this anthology, and what is your specific portion about it?
For sure. So it's called Alberta Comics Anthology, home, and it's done by Renegade Arts Entertainment out of Canmore, Alberta. And their big push for this anthology, the first issue, hopefully the first of many, but was to contact and get in creators who are either based in Alberta, from Alberta, and at least one of the creative team being in the province. So a real kind of local mash of great artists and writers, new artists and writers. I'm a new writer. So the whole theme behind it, again, is home. And it could be based in real life. It could be sci-fi. It could just, as long as it attaches to home in some sort of sense, right? And it's going to come out actually spring 2022. So you can look for Renegade Arts Entertainment to push that out at some point early next year. And then my story, a contribution to the anthology, and I was very excited and very pleased that I was greenlit to just have my pitch go through. And then it's a 2-page story. It is very personal to me, and I'm quite proud of it. And Jackson G is my artist on it, and he's an incredible. I can't say enough about him. He's an incredible artist, and also happens to be a great friend, which is nice. And so the story itself is called Long Distance Hug, and the pitch I made to Renegade initially was when one man's ability to say goodbye to his recently passed mom is taken away because of the pandemic, he gets to visit his mom in the form of a dream, or thanks to the form of a dream and one fantastical puppy. So maybe there's a little bit of a sci-fi bend there, but that's what was presented, and then that's what was greenlit, and then I've written the script. The script has already been submitted, the finished script, and then art will follow. So yeah,
cool, exciting stuff. I'm stoked for you to be getting behind the page, I guess, because you've been talking about comics and spreading the word for so many other people's projects. So it's cool that you're diving into your own now too.
Thanks,
Chris
man.
Doucher, I want to thank you for being on Inside Comics. Again, I've included a link to geeknerdnet.com, so everyone go out and check out this excellent website. And thanks again, Chris. I'll catch you next time.
Hey, thanks, George. Cheers, man.